people would have laughed at you if you had told them a decade ago that there are ways to keep their student athletes motivated. The internet has made it easier than ever to learn just about anything you want. So with all this content and information available, how did you know which ones to learn from and which ones actually work? Luckily for you, Manna member, we have produced a list of the 10 ways to keep student athletes motivated. Remember that while the first step is completing any of these amazing information, the second and possibly more important step is taking action even if it's imperfect action. Athletes in the Olympics are frequently viewed as the epitome of human performance, possessing incredible physical and mental strength, as well as serving as exemplary models of how to remain motivated under intense pressure. And with the 2020 Tokyo Olympics well underway, it is difficult not to be awed by the talent and determination of the athletes from around the globe. Many of us who are not Olympians can only dream of possessing such abilities. However, sports psychology research indicates that we can learn some skills from the pros if we are willing to put in the necessary effort. What distinguishes Olympic athletes? Being an Olympian requires not only extraordinary physical ability, but also extraordinary psychological discipline. Sports psychologists have spent decades attempting to identify the psychological factors that make the greatest athletes in the world so great. First, elite athletes exhibit a high level of dedication and passion for their sport. In addition, they have a greater belief in their own abilities than the average person, which protects them from the negative effects of stress. Resilience and resolve enable them to recover from defeat. Tom Daley, a British diver who has competed in 3 previous Olympic Games, recently won his first Olympic gold medal in Tokyo. For optimal performance, athletes must effectively manage their emotions and focus during competition. Under pressure, their performance may suffer if they fail to control their emotions, a phenomenon commonly referred to as choking. Simone Biles' decision to withdraw from the U.S. women's team and all-around finals to focus on her mental health has brought to the attention of the entire world the importance of athletes being aware of their emotional and psychological functioning. However, how does discipline develop? Although genetics play a role in shaping an elite athlete, life experiences and the surrounding environment are also crucial. Through experience and continued support from others, traits such as self-efficacy, the belief that one is capable of performing a task, develop. According to studies, fostering a supportive environment that encourages free will, emotional expression, and non-controlling feedback is essential for enhancing the psychological health of athletes. This type of environment promotes autonomous motivation, which is the motivation to perform an action based on one's own enjoyment or interest. According to research, autonomously motivated behaviors are more likely to be maintained over time. Frequently, Olympic champions face multiple stressors associated with their athletic performance, occupation, and personal lives. However, their work requires them to cultivate resilience and view stressors as obstacles to be surmounted. A variety of environmental cues, including peers, opponents, training facilities, training activities, and the coach, can also affect the athlete's performance. Therefore, coaches play a crucial role in shaping an athlete's environment and fostering high performance. Motivation is required for any team or individual to achieve success in athletics. Without the desire to improve and be your best, it is unlikely that you will achieve your goals and find success. As a coach, you recognize the significance of motivation, but how can you instill it in the athletes you train? Adopting an elite mindset. Even if you're not training for the 2024 Olympics in Paris, adopting some of the psychological skills used by Olympians can help you maintain focus and motivation in your own life. Whether you want to exercise more, drink less alcohol, or be more productive at home or at work, the following techniques can assist you in adopting an elite mindset. Every coach should wish for highly motivated players during practice activities. But where does this drive originate? Are some athletes intrinsically motivated, or is motivation generated by the practice activities? This video aims to persuade you that practice design has the greatest influence on player motivation. But let's take a step back. Why do you want players who are motivated? According to sports psychology research, motivated athletes are more likely to remain engaged in a practice activity and exert greater effort. They will continue when the activity becomes challenging. They will work despite their fatigue. Possibly, they will gain more knowledge from the activity, which will improve their game performance. And they will be more content with their sport experience and eager to attend the next practice. These are all positive features. We are also aware that practice activities must closely resemble the master sport. Therefore, for invasion or ball sports such as basketball and soccer, practice drills that do not involve a ball are likely not optimal because they are too abstract. And for racing sports such as running or swimming, a high volume of training without much competition can lead to mindless training in which technique and form frequently suffer. Research on motor learning indicates that activities that are more game-like and permit implicit learning are more likely to foster the development of skills that are durable over time. Therefore, we wish to utilize practice activities that are closely related to the sport itself. But if you are unfamiliar with sports psychology or motor learning research, it can be challenging to comprehend the significance of this research and how it applies to your own practices. No worries. These 6 criteria have been developed for you to evaluate your own practice activities. 6 evidence-based criteria are used to evaluate a practice. You may also download our grading sheet and follow along with one of your preferred practice exercises. Rapid performance feedback. Does the player receive immediate and clear feedback on their competence? Competence feedback indicates how well a player is performing the drill or activity. Providing players with immediate feedback on their performance will keep them engaged in the activity and encourage them to continue to improve. Sensory feedback and augmented feedback are 2 distinct types of competency feedback. The player directly perceives sensory feedback, such as a basketball going through the hoop, a tennis serve hitting a target, or a soccer goal going into the net. A coach is not required to inform a player whether or not they have accomplished the objective. Augmented feedback comes from sources other than a player's direct perception, such as a video replay of a performance or a coach providing advice on how to move the body or control the ball. Which type of response is superior? In most cases, sensory feedback is superior for skill acquisition. The reason for this is complex, but the simplest explanation is that the bodily systems that regulate movement are more closely linked with the systems that manage perception. When coaches instruct players to simply react and not overthink, I believe they intuitively comprehend these perception action control systems. A further advantage of drills with positive sensory feedback is that a player can perform them independently of the coach. In the age of COVID-19, when many players are training alone, this could be incredibly important. Occasionally, augmented feedback is required when a player attempts to alter how they perform a skill or how they move. Rapid video feedback is the best example of this, in my opinion. It is very common for diving coaches to set a 30-second delay on a TiVo or DVR. Divers can view an instant replay of their performance following a dive and use this augmented feedback to make adjustments for their next dive. This type of setup can be useful in a variety of sports, but it is best and most practical for close skills such as hitting a baseball, taking penalty kicks in soccer, or making free throws in basketball. I also believe that video feedback has a very short shelf life, perhaps 5 minutes, and is most useful when the player can make an immediate correction or adjustment on their next set of repetitions. This is why I believe video review of a player's performance 2 days after a game is limited in its ability to alter how a player executes a skill. In conclusion, how quickly does the drill provide feedback on competence? It is preferable if the feedback is immediate and comes from the drill itself. or a sensory feedback. What is an opportunity point? A challenge point is a point in a practice activity where the task is sufficiently challenging that the player experiences about the same amount of success and failure. In drills or activities where a player is successful when they hit the target, for instance, the optimal challenge point is determined by the size of the target and possibly the distance between the player and the target. A skilled player may have a smaller target than an experienced player. Typically, we exert our greatest effort and concentration when the success or failure rate is approximately 50-50. However, this challenge point will be different for each player. Therefore, it is essential for a coach to be able to increase or decrease the challenge point based on the player's skill level. Challenge points are awarded for more than just hitting a target. During small-sided games, the dimensions can be altered. For instance, if you are playing a 4-on-3 game and the defense is really good and keeps stopping the offense, you can increase the challenge point by removing one of the defenders and making the drill 4-on-2. Thus, the offense will have a greater chance of success, while the defense will have to work harder to be successful. This strategy also permits the mixing of players of varying skill levels, which can be a good way to combine varsity and junior varsity players. 4 JV players can face 2 varsity players. In sports such as swimming and running, a challenge point can be a time goal. The athlete may be required to complete a predetermined number of repeat runs or swims that surpass a given time goal. It is more likely that each athlete will remain motivated if the challenge point is tailored to his or her ability rather than if every athlete has the same objective. A drill that allows you to quickly and easily adjust the difficulty level is an effective drill. It enables you to respond quickly to a practice situation so that you can maintain player engagement throughout the drill. Mastery is a continuous process of self-improvement. When players perform an activity that demonstrates their steady improvement, they are more likely to persevere and participate in that drill. The name of one of my favorite swimming drills was Beat the Champion. The objective was for swimmers to complete 10 50-yard repeats and beat as many of the previous year's national champions' 500-yard freestyle splits as possible. At the start of the season, a swimmer may only be able to surpass 4 of the 10 splits. By the middle of the season, however, they could frequently beat all 10 splits, proving to the player that they had improved. And if you wanted to continue the drill, we could simply increase the difficulty by giving them less time between repetitions. We cannot emphasize enough how important it is for a drill or game to demonstrate the player's progression over time. There is no evidence superior to practice performance. It means so much more than a compliment from a coach. However, it is often crucial for the coach to point out to each athlete how they have improved as a result of this type of drill. If the coach only pays attention to the athlete with the best performance, the emphasis shifts from continuous self-improvement to the athlete with the most skill. Instead, call out the athlete who improved the most since the last time the drill was performed. Rewarding improvement encourages athletes to strive for personal bests and keeps them engaged and motivated. Autonomy is a degree to which a player has choice and voice in a practice activity. In general, players' motivation will be increased when they have creative freedom and decision-making control during an activity. At the conclusion of a practice, small-sided scrimmage games can be an excellent time to relinquish control and let the players play. In situations where adults and coaches are not in charge, players are more likely to adopt the mindset of a pick-up game. These types of games create opportunities for leadership to emerge, which is essential for the holistic development of athletes. It is also essential to consider how the coach rewards originality and independence. What if players commit errors? If coaches praise players for attempting to solve a problem on their own, players will be more willing to take risks in other circumstances, like games. Risk-taking and independent decision-making are essential to the development of a player's game skills, but are not always valued by coaches. Not all players may embrace creativity and independent decision-making, and achieving this level of independence may require time or encouragement. However, if they observe other players being rewarded for it, they are more likely to attempt it themselves. Here's a more detailed 10 ways to keep student athletes motivated. Number 1. Goal setting. Elite athletes frequently set both short and long-term objectives. Setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, can help you achieve small victories that will keep you motivated as you work toward a longer objective. Try to make your personal goals meaningful by tying them to your most important values. You may wish to prioritize your health or academic achievement. For instance, this can increase your motivation to reach your goals. Does this practice activity have an objective that requires little explanation? Consider the matter carefully. How much time do you spend explaining the purpose of the game before instructing your players to begin this activity? And how relevant is this activity to the sport? Our research indicates that players are more likely to inquire as to why a drill or practice activity will help them improve. But if your objective is crystal clear, you won't need to spend much time explaining why players must complete the task. According to flow theory, when an activity has a very clear objective, players are more likely to be engaged and motivated. We enjoy comparing practice tasks to video games. The objective of the majority of video games is readily discernible even without a tutorial. The rules of a typical video game limit your actions. Don't go out of bounds, don't fall off a cliff, and don't let the small creatures devour you. Is your practice task that simple to comprehend? Number 2. Planning. Oftentimes, achieving a goal requires a great deal of time and effort, as is the case with athletes preparing for the Olympics. Planning is an essential psychological skill that can assist you in regulating your behavior as you pursue your objectives. Consider developing comprehensive action plans that outline when, where, and how you will achieve your objective. Your action plan may resemble the following. Every day at 3 p.m., I will drive to the local swimming pool, this is the when, and swim for 45 minutes, this is the where and how. In addition, developing comprehensive coping strategies will help you prepare for potential obstacles that may impede goal achievement. For example, if the pool is too crowded, I will run for 45 minutes through the park. Number 3. Positive self-talk. Many athletes use reflective practices such as self-talk to help them concentrate or focus on the task at hand. Identifying positive keywords or phrases such as I can do it and I'm almost there can help redirect your focus and increase your motivation to persevere through challenging or difficult situations. Positive self-talk can also boost your self-efficacy, which is a strong predictor of a variety of positive outcomes. We all breathe automatically but deliberate. Balanced breathing is a learned behavior that can have significant effects on stress reduction and well-being enhancement. To practice, inhale deeply into your diaphragm through your nose, count to 4, and then exhale slowly through your mouth to the same count. Place your palm against your abdomen if you are unsure of whether you are breathing deeply enough. As you slowly inhale and fill your diaphragm with air, you should feel it push out as it fills with air. Additional methods of stress relief. Share any concerns you may have with friends, family, and co-workers. Give your objectives a one-day rest. Next, record your accomplishments and reread them every day as a reminder of your progress. Next, sleep or refresh your mind mentally. Next, thank those who have helped you. And lastly, tweet or share your thoughts with family and close friends. Number 4, visualization. Athletes frequently use mental imagery to visualize their performance prior to running toward the pole vault or serving in volleyball. Visualizing the steps required to complete a task or achieve a goal can increase motivation and the anticipated pleasure of completing the activity. Consider how you can adopt the mindset of an Olympian the next time you watch the world's best compete for glory and be inspired to excel in your own endeavors. Reviewing perceived failures on the field or court will increase your players' motivation to succeed in the future. When failure is reframed as an opportunity to learn, you can grow and learn together. Number 5, recognize the significance of motivation. As a coach, one of your primary responsibilities is to motivate your athletes, and conveying its significance is crucial. Despite the fact that physical conditioning, mental readiness, and training help children become better athletes, an individual will not exert his or her maximum effort if they lack motivation. Encourage and motivate the young athletes you work with so that they can appreciate the benefits of doing well and enjoy their sport more. For some, winning games or receiving awards is a motivator, but for the majority, improvement and skill acquisition are sufficient, even if it means rewarding small steps along the way, providing positive feedback, and foster continuous development. Number 6. Determine each athlete's individual motivators. Each athlete is motivated in a unique manner. Therefore, learning as much as possible about each of your players will help you keep them focused and moving in the right direction. Individual athletes can be motivated to perform by a variety of factors, including a passion for the sport, the ability to observe their own growth, positive feedback, and trophies. Unfortunately, when it comes to motivation, one size does not fit all, so you will need to diversify your strategies. Once you understand what motivates each athlete, you can apply this knowledge to the development of motivational strategies. While one player may enjoy being praised in front of the group, another may feel uneasy about it. Observe reactions and modify your actions in response to verbal and non-verbal feedback. Number 7, clarify the why. Any competent motivator can respond to this question: why is this being done? In order to get players to do what must be done for success, it is sometimes necessary to sell them on the benefits. Young athletes may find drills monotonous. If a young person does not understand how the drill will help them achieve success, their motivation may decrease. Do not assume that all players comprehend the significance of practice. As with any concept, this must be presented in a manner that all young athletes can comprehend. When you have explained why something works, it's easier to demonstrate the long-term benefits of hard work. Once an athlete sees the result of their actions, they are frequently motivated to pay closer attention to instruction and practice more diligently. There are numerous reasons why athletes lose concentration. One of them is pain, which the majority of us tend to view as a negative experience, avoiding it as much as possible. Pain is an unavoidable consequence of both life and competition. We must deal with it regardless of our preference. When suffering inevitably befalls you, it is beneficial to attempt to transform it into a positive experience. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as the saying goes. Lack of confidence is another reason why your players may lose concentration. As a coach, you can employ concentration skills to aid in boosting self-assurance and composure. Some of the greatest athletes in the world believe that concentration is the most essential mental skill for achieving success. The best time to work on focus and concentration is during practice. Coaches can determine what is wrong and make the necessary adjustments. Number 8, promote teamwork. The formation of positive relationships through athletic competitions can be highly motivating. This sense of connection can motivate teammates to exert extra effort for the team's success. Even when coaching athletes in individual sports, it is crucial for motivation to foster connections between individuals. Encourage athletes to engage in team-building activities and get to know one another. Celebrate the accomplishments of the team or competing unit as a whole, and provide opportunities for the young people with whom you work to form strong bonds and encourage one another. Holding a series of open meetings is one of the most effective ways to improve communication. This type of environment makes it easy to convey your enthusiasm and emotions to your team, and vice versa. Additional methods for initiating conversation: send emails or texts or social media. Schedule private meetings. Establish a receptive environment. Communicate while training with assurance and gravity. Use simple language and corresponding images. Number 9, recognize successes of any size. Use one to feel successful, enjoy themselves. Reminding them of their progress will only encourage them to continue pursuing excellence. Successes should be celebrated outside of games and competitions. Recognize an athlete when he or she completes a challenging drill or endures an activity for an extended period of time. It can be extremely difficult to prevent a loss from demoralizing young athletes. It is therefore essential to keep an eye out for opportunities for improvement and bring them to light at the appropriate time. It is essential when working with young athletes to highlight their minor accomplishments, as many may not recognize them on their own. Keeping practice enjoyable is crucial. When coaches mistakenly believe that learning sports skills and having fun are incompatible, problems arise. Simply, we must reconsider our definition of fun. In reality, concentration and enjoyment are not at all incompatible. One cannot exist without the other. Ideally, participants will be deeply engaged and inspired by an experience. While it is true that fear can lead to intense involvement, your athletes will likely not find the experience uplifting. In addition, they will not find all aspects of an activity enjoyable. In the end, you will get more out of your team if you make practice both challenging and rewarding. A perfect union of fun and concentration. Number 10. Set attainable objectives. Achieving a short or long-term objective can be a powerful motivator. Keep in mind, however, that goal setting can backfire if the goals are not attainable and concrete. Share with your young athletes attainable objectives. Combining individual and group objectives can be especially effective for motivating children. Setting goals for improvement in specific aspects of a sport can be a more effective strategy for youth sports teams than setting statistical or win-based goals. Goals can also be related to practice in terms of attendance, drill performance, and teammate motivation. How you decide to motivate the athletes you work with as a coach will depend on the sport, age, and skill level of your players. In team sports, it is essential to motivate athletes both individually and collectively. You can coach young athletes to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals en route to a rewarding athletic career with the proper motivation and practice. And that's it for this video, Manna member. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we have delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person as a token of your appreciation for the hard work you put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you will start to see results. See you soon.